Hello and welcome to Alex Temp's Tabletop, and in today's video, as you can see, I'm going to show you how to start collecting a Nurgle army for Age of Sigmar. So let's get down to it. First rule is rule of cool. Do you like the look of the army? I know some people try and go for rules, but sometimes it's the aesthetic which is more important. For me personally, that's how I roll. I like the look of decaying flesh, that funky feet smell. This army provides 100% foam effect, so I'm happy. As well, kind of what often helps me is cost-wise. Is this army going to cost me a lot? I would say Nurgle is that kind of middle price range army. You're going to need a few models, but there are ways getting around where you won't need loads, but the sets cost a bit, but you can go on discount sites and get them a bit cheaper. So yeah, we're going to do that. So here I'm just quickly showing you my Lord of Plague, what I recently painted. After painting this, I was there like, I'm gonna start an army, because I really enjoy painting that and I like the look of dead flesh. So first off, I'm going to kind of cover two War Scroll battalions. So we're going to go on to that now. So the first War Scroll is Plaguebearers. So the organisation is you need one Lord of Plague, 3 to 6 units of Putrid Blight Kings, and then you don't need them, but you need at least one of, if you want them, a Sorcerer and a Harbinger of Decay. Now it says 0 to 1, so if you don't want them, you don't need to bring them. Me, for now, for money wise, I've already got my Lord of Plagues, and I'm probably going to bring 3 units of Putrid Blight Kings, because then I can actually run them as a battle line. So I'll go on to that later. So the ability with this is Master of Slaughter. Reroll all failed hit rolls for units from this battalion that are affected by the Wanton Slaughter ability of this battalion's Lord of Plagues, instead of only re-rolling hit rolls of 1. So that's really useful because damage output in AOS in any kind of war game is important. You want to kill your opponent, don't you? So with your failed rolls, instead of only 1s with this ability, that's very useful because you want everything to count with Putrid Blight Kings. And as well, you've got horribly contagious in your hero phase. Roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 of any units from this battalion. On a 6+, the unit being rolled for a suffer. I can't read. On a 6+, the unit being rolled for suffers D3 mortal wounds. So that's pretty handy if you're like kind of in near close combat or you're edging towards that stage and you're kind of here. That's going to be cool. Like there's potential to do some damage. So this is, now I'm going to cover the next War Scroll. Now let's say you don't want a bunch of Blight Kings, you kind of want the Demon set. This is a great way to go. I may use this one when I'm building up my forces, let's say 2k, but for now I'm probably going to do the first War Scroll. God, what accent was that? First War Scroll? So this is the Taliban of Nurgle. So you see here you got a funky picture, loads of smelly things. So this battalion would be perfect for the Demons of Nurgle start collecting set. So you need a great Unclean one. Well, you don't actually, but for me I'm going to have that. Then you need 1 to 3 heroes, so you've got the list there. And you need 4 to 7 units in chosen and combination, so Plaguebearers, Plague Drones, and then 0 to 3 units chosen in combination following the Beast of Nurgle. So already, looking at this, you could get the start collecting Nurgle Demons. You've already got a unit Plaguebearers, you've got Plague Drones in that set, and you're already starting off then for that. So that's kind of useful if you want to go for this, and also the Plaguebearers are battle line for this army. So I keep saying battle line, so to have an army you need like kind of the background force, the established ground troops, and every army in AOS needs a battle line. If it's kind of open play and everyone's chill, it doesn't matter, but if let's say it's kind of fixed play, you need a battle line. I'm not too professional in rules, so I could be wrong, but that's how I've always done it, and that's what people have always told me. So the abilities with the Taliban Nurgle is Drolling Masses. At the start of your hero phase, each unit in this battalion heals 1 wound that has been allocated to it. For units of Plaguebearers, return D3 slain models to each unit instead. So with this kind of army, if you're going to go down this route with like kind of numbers, you just slowly overwhelm them, keep bringing them back, they're undying. It's kind of like with death, with the skeletons, you get to bring them back slowly. So you got that to rely on if you just want to drown people in Plaguebearers. And then you got Disease and Pestilence personified, I can't read. If the number of Plaguebearer units play the number of Plague Drone units in this battalion at the start of this battle is 7, you receive 1 extra continuous point in each of your hero phase. I don't know what that is, the continuous point. I've seen it before. I'm not going to look into it because I'm not that professional. This is kind of a starting basis for starting an army. So now we're just going to kind of go through some of the stats to the basic infantry, what I'm going to use for my army, and then you get an idea of how good some of these miniatures are. Now first off, I'm going to cover scenery, because themed scenery is very useful. A downside what I did when I played my old Sylvaneth army, I used no scenery because I couldn't be bothered, and I thought I want to see what this army's like without the scenery. It does really penalise armies and it does make them a bit scrubby, so use some terrain. So this really funky looking tree, which doesn't look healthy, it's not going to be in the Royal Garden show anytime soon. So this scenery has some rules. So entropic chimes. In their charge phase, Nurgle units that are within 7 of any Felicent, something I can't pronounce, can attempt to charge even if they ran in the same turn. So this is useful, because if you've kind of gathered, Nurgle is quite slow, they're undead. Like the Blight Knights move like 4 inches, so at least if you could run, and if they're 7 inches from this tree, then they can still charge, which is very useful. So it may be good to get 2 or 3 of these trees to spread around the board when playing, because I can see myself at least getting 2 or getting 1 and just putting it in the centre. And then 6 Nest Blossoms. At the start of the hero phase, roll a dice for each unit within 3 of any Felicent Garn Wars. Yeah, my dyslexia is really butchering words. On a 4+, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Units with the Nurgle keyword are unaffected. So this is good because your enemy, well, your opponent, God, you don't want to fully kill them in real life. In board game life, yeah. If you kind of make your own defensive thing or slowly move, they still have to get into contact with you, hopefully, and they know they may actually take wounds from getting close to these trees, and they may just get charged because of the bonus of these trees. So this is like a really good one to use, and I recommend you buy at least 2 or 3 or even 1. Okay, let's go back to my Lord of Plague. So here's the kind of battle scroll kind of description. He's 4+ save, he moves 7, that's going back to the tree, they move quite slow, so the whole charge thing is useful. He's got 7 wounds, his bravery 9. His attacks, he gets 3 to hit, 3 to wound, rend 1, D3 damage, which is pretty decent. So he's got Wharton to Slaughter, reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly Pruted Blight King units, what are within 7. As I said, going back to the battalion, if we use that one, the Noble Cyst or whatever, that's all failed hit rolls, so I recommend using that because this isn't going to be as good. Rotten Corpse. Roll a dice after this model makes its attacks in the combat phase, and add the number of wounds inflicted by this model and which were not saved or negated to the dice roll. If the total is 7+, you immediately receive 1 contagious point. Once again, I don't know what that is. Maybe I'd go look into that further down the line. Okay, Plague Ridden Great Weapon. Each time you make a hit roll of 6+ for this model, Plague Ridden Great Blade, the hit roll inflicts D6 hits instead of 1. So that is crazy good. So if you're lucky and you throw a few 6s, you've got potential to do a few D6 damage there instead of 1 mortal wound, which is scary. And then his command ability, Grandfather Gift. You can use this command ability in the hero phase. If you do, pick an enemy unit within 21 of it and roll 7 dice. That unit suffers 1 mortal wound for each roll of 6+. The number of Nurgle 7, so you're kind of picking up on the theme now, like you're getting cool bonuses if you get a 7 and all that. So he's quite a decent HQ if you're just kind of starting off. He's like 140 points, so very good value. We're going to go on to the Putrid Blight Kings because they're kind of the same thing to the Lord of Plagues. So we're doing the Putrid Blight Kings now. So they have a 4+ save, they move 4, their bravery 8, not 9. They come with a bunch of different like stuff when you're kitting them out from the sets. As you see, they've got the same amount of attacks to hit, to wound. They do no rend though. But already they've got Blighted Weapon. Each time you make a hit roll of 6+ for the unit, instead of a 1, it could inflict D6 damage. So once again, even the basic infantry can put out some mass killing, which is always fun. And then it says in the unit, the leader of this unit is a Blight Lord. A Blight Lord has wounds of characteristic of 5. So altogether, I think you get a unit of 5. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16. That's like 21 wounds in a unit. Hopefully my math didn't make me look like an idiot there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. But you get it. Like a unit packs a punch. And then you got the Icon Bearer, because you get to add cool funky stuff like banners and that. Models in this unit can be Icon Bearer. Add one to the unit's Bravery characteristic. Well, it includes any Icon Bearer, so that'll put it up to Bravery 9, which is good. And then you got this thing, what I'm not going to pronounce. Models in this unit may carry something. Add one to the unit's run and charge rolls, whilst it includes any model carrying it. So that's pretty useful because they're quite slow. They move 4, and if you're charging on that and want to get into combat, that's going to be useful. And then you got Vigilant Discharge. In your hero phase, roll a dice for each unit, friend or foe, that is within 3 of any friendly unit. Within this ability, on a 6+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If the unit has the Nurgle keyword, heal D3 wounds allocated to the unit instead. So that's quite exciting for Putrid Blight Kings, very good. That's why I'm probably not going to take the Plaguebearers. I may just have a bunch of Putrid Blight Kings as battle line. So we're going to go on to the Plaguebearers now. Okay, Plaguebearers are essentially used as human meat shields, or if you're kind of doing a kind of horde army. So you got the stats there, 5+ save, bravery 10, they only get 1 attack. They benefit in numbers. The Icon Bearer is pretty rad. D6 Plaguebearer models are added to this unit when you're like kind of losing, rebuilding that unit. You get disgustingly resilient, so if you get a wound on the 5+, you just ignore it, which is pretty useful. Pipers are pretty cool. Roll of 1 for the enemy units. They are within 6. I didn't really explain. Reroll battle shock rolls, essentially. Cloud of Flies, they're pretty useful, so essentially you like subtract hit rolls against you, but if you have a unit of 20 instead of just 1, it's 2 from hit rolls, so you kind of read it here, you can see it on the screen. Then you got Locust Party Time, reroll save rolls of 1 for this unit within, while it is within 7 of a friendly Nurgle demon hero. So yeah, Plaguebearers, they can be used as battle line as well, they're pretty useful. We're going to go on to the fun bit now, the Great Unclean one. Now, the Great Unclean one is kind of like the centerpiece to any Nurgle army to an extent. Everyone wants one because they look freaking cool. Some people have 3 because there's a War Scroll Battalion. I probably only have 1. So it's got 16 wounds, 4+ save, bravery 10, moves 5. And you've got kind of the loadout here. And it's kind of terrifying. I won't go through all of it because I'll slowly go through it on screen and you can take it in, but yeah, it's kind of nasty, which is cool. It's got abilities, of course. It's got Blubber and Bile. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to this model. On a 5+, the wounds is neglected. In addition, if the roll is a 6+ and is the combat phase, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound after all of its attacks have been made. Pretty nasty. Corpulent Mass. In your hero phase, you can heal D3 mortal wounds that have been allocated to this model. So that's pretty cool. That's always useful, kind of slowly buffering it. Mounting of essentially rotting flesh. Roll dice for each enemy unit that is within 1 of this model. After this model completes a charge move on a 4+, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Nasty. Putrid Offering. If this model has a Bile Blade and attempts to cast or unbind a spell, you can say that it is using the Bile Blade to hook out a portion of its own rotting guts as an offering to Nurgle. If you do so, this model immediately suffers 1 mortal wound, which cannot be negated, but you can then add 1 to the casting or unbinding roll. Pretty cool and useful because you can always make that back in the next phase. Reverberating Summons. If a Nurgle unit begins its movement phase within 7 of any models with a Doomsday Bell, add 3 to its move characteristic until the end of this phase. So that may be very useful for your Putrid Blight Kings who are quite slow and you're adding that characteristic. It means you're going to keep them all tight together that additional move with 3 to 4, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7. And then if you run and then you're close to the smelly tree thing, what lets them charge, you can just smash people in the face already, by maybe even by turn 1 if you get the first turn. That's amazing. That's so good. Then you got Grandfather's Joy. Some people may misinterpret that, but do not be scared. You can use this command ability in your hero phase. If you do, pick a friendly Nurgle demon unit within 21 of this model. Add 1 to the attack characteristics of all the melee weapons used by the unit until your next hero phase. So it could be useful if you're playing like kind of a demon army, like the Plaguebearers, the Plague Drones. Okay, we've got some funky magic now. A Great Unclean one is a wizard. It can attempt to cast 2 spells in your hero phase and attempt to unbind 2 spells in the enemy hero phase. It knows Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, and Plague Wind spells. Funky. So if you don't know, Arcane Bolt essentially lets you shoot a bunch of lightning. It can hurt enemy units, and Arcane Shield, you kind of protect yourself with a magical shield. Plague Wind. Plague Wind has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick a point on the battlefield within 14 of the caster and draw an imaginary straight line between it and the closest part of the caster. Each unit, friend or foe, crossed by the centre of the line suffers D3 mortal wounds. Units with the Nurgle keyword are instead invalidated by the Plague Wind. It passes over them, heals D3 wounds that have been allocated to that unit, so that's super useful. So already you can tell this is a very good unit to have in your army. So we're kind of getting to the end of this very long video for me. I don't often do long videos. Here's kind of the points, so hopefully if you can't get your hands on like Tabletop for now, here's kind of an outline idea of points. So hopefully you get to kind of make an imaginary list on your head, and the kind of basic units I told you what I'm going to use for now, you can kind of build upon that and do your research. But yeah, the points are quite fair for Nurgle. As I said, 3 units of the Future Blight Kings, and then the Great Unclean one, and then the Lord of Plagues, and then luckily the scenery's free, and then you've got to pay the War Scroll Battalion cost. So that's already like near 1,000 points all going over, so then I'm already halfway to 2k then, but most games are 1500s, 1750. I'm probably just going to aim for 12,000 for now, 1500. I'm just going to slowly build it up. But yeah, that was the video. Hopefully this was kind of useful. I don't often do long videos. If you want me to do more videos on Nurgle and stuff, hit me up and I will. Like if you like this video, subscribe, spread the word. It's very helpful. I'm near to 300. It feels like it's been a lifetime since I've nearly reached that goal. If you disliked it, leave some feedback. I will kind of use it. I won't take it to heart. If you're super mean, I'll just laugh it off because I have no soul. But yeah, thank you for watching, people. Hopefully you feel very nauseous because of the effect of Nurgle, not my content making you ill. Because if my content's doing that, I should be selling that to like arms dealers because I can make lots of money from that. Anyway, catch you later, people. Goodbye.